Let's do green. All right, if you guys would find your unit test review, we're going to go through every question from beginning to end. All right, measure of center refers to, now this is what we taped into our spirals the other day. If you open back up your spirals to this yellow or whichever color it is, and we're going to look at measures of center versus measures of spread. Underneath our measures of center, we measure it with two different ways. Our first way is through the mean, and our second way is through the median. It is the two measures that are in the middle. So mean and median. Okay. All right, number 2, Eva gathered samples from average monthly temperatures of 2 cities and calculated a 5-number summary. What is the range of each data? This is my max minus my min, the highest minus the lowest. Well, for city A, the highest number I have is 91. The lowest number I have is 32. Okay, well, I cannot do 1 minus 2, so I have to borrow and carry. Well, 2 to 10 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. And then 8 minus 3 is 5. For city B, my max is 86. My min is 37. I have to borrow once again. Well, 7 to 10 is 3 plus 6 more, so 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 7 minus 3 is 4. Now on to my IQR. This is Q3 minus Q1. So for city A, my Q3 is 72. Q1 is 45. I'll have to borrow and carry again. Well, 5 to 10 is 5, plus 2 more is 7. And then 6 minus 4 is 2. For city B, 75 minus 48. To borrow and carry once again. 8 to 10 is 2, plus 5 more is 7. And then 6 minus 4 is 2. Okay. Number 3, the director of a middle school play wants to find out how many students at the school play plan to see the play on opening night. Which sample method is most likely to provide valid results? All right, letter A, surveying 2 random chosen students from each of the 25 homeroom classes at the school. That seems pretty random to me, but let's check. Surveying 50 random chosen students in 8th grade. No, because what about 7 and 6? Surveying 5 random chosen students from each of the 10 art classes at the school. Well, why just art? And then surveying 10 randomly chosen students reading in the library during 5 different lunch periods. Well, that's just kids who don't want to go to the cafeteria. That's not everyone. So the only logical choice should be letter A. Should be letter A. All right. Number 4. Let me grab. There we go. Sorry. All right, number 4. A circle graph shows Alan's activities during 24 hours. Okay. How much time did Alan spend listening to music? So I have listening to music at 12% and then playing tennis at 10%. Okay. I want to know how many more hours did he listen to music than play tennis? Well, I'm told my total. Okay. And my total is right here at 24 hours. And I have my 2%. Now I need to find my part. So part equals percent times the whole. So I'm going to split this up here between music and tennis. So with music, my part is 12%, which is 0.12 times 24. But for tennis, it should be 0.10 times 24. Well, 24 times 0.12. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. Placeholder. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. And then add all these up. 288. We'll have 2 places for the decimal. To get for my music is 2.88. For tennis, I have 24 times 0.1 or 0.10, same thing. 4 and 2, 1 decimal place. Well, I need to know how much I spend listening to music versus playing tennis. So I'm going to take the difference between these two, which means I'm going to subtract. Well, 8 minus 0 is 8. 8 minus 4 is 4. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. So I spend an additional 0.48 of an hour listening to music than I do playing tennis. Number 5, Suzanne surveyed 55 people to find out their favorite types of music. The results are shown in the graph below. So I have a total of 55 people, okay? Based on the information of the graph, which types, so more than one, of music were chosen by 40% of the people, okay? Well, it sounds like I need to know my part. So I have my part, because I have my percent as 40. I'll do this 40%. My whole is 55. Well, this can be written as 0.4, and I need to find my parts. So 0.4 times 55. 5 times 4 is 20, and 20 plus 2 is 22. Well, my part is 22 people have chosen to listen to these types of music. Well, let's find out find out which music that is. Looks like country, 15 chose country, 12 chose jazz, 10 chose opera, and 18 chose rock. Well, I know that I have to have 2, and both of them have to add up to be 22. Well, 15 and 12, well, that's 17. 12 and 10 is 22, okay? 10 and 15 is 25. 10 and 18 is 28. 18 and 12 is 30, and then 18 and 5 is well more. So the only 2 that are possible chance to be chosen for 40% is jazz and opera. Jazz and opera. All right, number 6. Okay. Number 6, a recent survey of 1,500 students from across the U.S. showed that 3 out of 5 students buy their lunch at school. What is the population of the survey? Well, my population are school students. What is my sample? Now remember, sample is a portion, and that is my 1,500. This is not my total. This is my sample. Okay. If 1,500 people were surveyed, how many of them bought their lunch? Well, here's my proportion. 3 out of 5 buy lunch. If I have 1,500, how many of those bought their lunch? I know that 5 times 3 gets me 15. 5 times 30 gets me 150. And 5 times 300 gets me to 1,500. What I do to the bottom, I have to do the top. So 3 times 3 is 9. We'll add my zeros after that. And 900 kiddos buy their lunch out of 1,500. Okay. Number 7, Mr. George works for a video game developer. The company wants to know how much time teenagers spend each day participating in online gaming. Okay, so a company wants to know this. Suppose Mr. George decides to give his teenage son's homeroom class a survey. What is the population? Well, the population is not his homeroom class. It is all teens across US. Okay, because the sample is Mr. George homeroom. Okay, because if I sample just his one homeroom, is that considered a random sample? And the answer is no, because the company wants to know how much time teenagers spend each day participating in online gaming. I'm looking at one homeroom across all of the US and saying, okay, this is it because of here. So is this a random sample? And no, not all teens are given an equal chance. Okay, not all teens are given an equal chance. All right. Number 8. So number 8, Krista set up a monthly, as represented the monthly budget below. All right. So here we go. I am going to go ahead and break this down. Make it a little bit easier. So there's many different ways you can split your circle up in half and start finding the percentages and start finding the halves. I know that one full circle is equal up to 100%. I see right here that my savings, it is the smallest part, and I'm going to assume that my savings is 5%. Okay. After my savings of 5%, I see that entertainment, it looks like entertainment is double my savings. So I'm going to double the answer here for entertainment at 10%. I see that utilities looks about the same size as both savings and entertainment put together. So I'm going to say that this is 15%. Utilities and food, they look equivalent to me at 15%. Okay. Well, I know that housing and food, based on drawing this line in half, are exactly 50%. So 50 minus 15 is 35. So 35% is left. Okay. And then I have one last piece that's left, and I need to figure out this. So 15 and 15, that's 30. Plus 10 more is 40. Plus 35 more, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 75. Plus 5 more is 80. So it looks like my car is left at 20%. Okay. All right, so Krista spends about what percent of her income on housing and food? Well, housing and food, we see that that is cut straight in half at 50%. What part of her income is car and utilities? Well, car is 20 and utilities is 15. So it looks to be about 35%. Spend on housing and utilities. Well, housing is 35 plus utilities is 15. Well, I know that this right here is 50, so that's going to be 50. And then about what percent of her income is spent on food and entertainment? Well, entertainment is 10, food is 15. 10 plus 15 is 25%. Okay, 25%. All right. And then the last one, number 9. So number 9, I'm asked to do a lot of different things. And so there's going to be a lot of math involved. But if you guys can do this, then you guys are good to go on your test. All right, so number 9, what can you say about the 2 dot plots below? What is the mean of the SUV? So to find the mean, it's all numbers added divided by number total. All right. Well, there's going to be many different ways. You can use a calculator on this page only. That is fine, as long as you know that you're going to add everything up. But I'm going to show you how I solved it. So I looked and I saw that 19, I have it 4 times. So I'm going to do 19 times 4 to get me to 36. Well, 4, 5, 6, 7 to have 76. 20 times 3 is 60. 21 times 2 is 42. And I'm going to add all these numbers up. So I'm going to have 18 plus 76 plus 60 plus 42 and then plus 22. Let's see if I can get this just right again. Well, 2 and 2 is 4, 6 and 4 is 10, and 10 plus 8 is 18. Okay. 6 and 4 is 10. 7 and 2 and 1 is 10. So 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 1 more is 21. So I have 218. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers. So 11 on the outside, 2, 1, 8 on the inside. Okay, now we're going to stop at the hundreds because this number will continue. Okay, so 11 goes into 21 one time with, 9 left over? 10 left over. 20, yes, 10 left over, bring down the 8. Well, 11 goes into 108 9 times at 99. 108 minus 99 is 9. Decimal and 0. 11 goes into 90 8 times, 88. 2. Bring down the 0, goes in there 1 time at 11, and that 81 will repeat. So my mean for this is 19.81. Okay. All right, let's do the same thing for the cars. Now I see that I have 1 here, but I have 2 at 22. So I'm going to go over here off to the side. So 22 times 2 is 44. 24 times 2 is 48. 25 times 2, well, 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. 26 times 3, well, 6 times 3 is, I think it's 18. No, 20, yep, 18. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. And let's see, I have 127 and 121. So I'm going to have, let's do this, 78, 50, 48, 44, 27, and 21. Okay, I'll zoom in so you guys can see it. I'm going to do a little bit of weird math here. 8 and 8 is 16. 7 and 4 is 11. Well, 16 and 11 is what? 27 plus 1 more is 28. Okay. It looks like 4 and 4 is 8. 2 and 2 is 4. 7 and 5 is 12. Well, 12 plus 8 is 20. Plus 4 is 24. Plus 2 more is 26. to get me 268. Well, let's see how many numbers I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 268 divided by 11. So 11 on the outside, 268 on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and put the decimal because we're going to have to keep going. 11 can go into 26 2 times. 26 minus 22 is 4. Bring down the 8. Well, 11 can go into 48 4 times. At 44 minus 4, bring down here. Did I do my math right? Yep. 11 can go into 43 times. 33. I have 7 left over. 11 can go into 76 times. At 66. And I'm going to stop there at 24.36. Okay. All right. So these are the two means of SUV in cars. Now I want to find the range. So remember, it's the highest minus the lowest. So the range for SUV is 22 minus 18. Borrow and carry. Well, 12 minus 8 is 4. So the range for SUVs is 4. The range for my cars is 27 minus 21 at 6. So the range for my cars is 6. It's asking for the distribution of both my cars and my SUVs. Well, distribution means, does it skew left or skew right? Or is it symmetrical? So let's take a look at the cars. It looks like my highest peak here is 26. And it looks like my data is being pulled to the left. So for my cars, it's skewed left. Okay. And then if I look here at my SUVs, I kind of got one little bit of hump right here, but most of my data is clumped right here. So it looks about approximately symmetrical. And then the last question, what is the median for both sets of data? So I'm going to find the median for the cars, which means I'm going to mark off 1 on each end until I get to the middle from high and low all the way. And it looks like my median for SUVs is 20. And then let's do it for the cars. So 1 from each end all the way until I reach the middle. And my median for cars is 25. If you have any questions, let me know.